Okay. Well, don't worry, you can continue that song, that music later, because I understand that exercising is also part of self-healing habits and practices. And dancing is an exercise, I'm told, but that's probably not what we're talking. Maybe we're going to talk about it. I don't know. Our guest is here. She'll be able to give us that. You know, the human body, we understand, possesses an enormous, astonishing, and persistent capacity to heal itself. Disease generally occurs when we abuse our bodies or deprive them of basic requirements to keep us healthy over extended periods. You know, the cell has an amazing ability to renew itself. The most fundamental unit of the human body is the cell, and all human life, we understand, originally begins as one cell. And we've been told on this program a couple of times that the human body has 37 trillion cells, at least. There are those who say it's more than 100 trillion cells, but generally at least 37 trillion cells in the human adult body, comprising of body cells, blood cells, bone cells, brain cells, if I can say that. But you know, this conversation will not be complete without speaking with our guest this morning, who will tell us the path that we need to take to self-healing. Yonda Agbeniga is here. She is going to take us through that. She's a lifestyle doctor. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
First of all, for those who are wondering, okay, so my body can heal itself, tell us how possible. Let's begin from there.
So I had this very big smile on my face when you were reading cells, tissues, systems, organ. I was like, oh, he's gone through biology this morning. So that's the starting point, actually. You know, the body has a basic unit called the cell, which is the single unit that comprises of the nucleus, all that stuff in biology. They call them organelles. Organs in the cells are called organelles, and so that single unit, from it, let's start from the beginning when an egg and a sperm cell meet and they create that single cell, which breaks into 2 and breaks into 4 and then 8, 16, 32. That's how...
Until they become 37 trillion.
Yes. So you can say that fundamentally the cell has the capacity to divide, replicate, and multiply. The same way that divide, replicate, and multiply capacity can also be used to reproduce another copy, can be used to heal, can be used to absorb nutrients from the environment, can also be used to absorb toxins from the environment. So now it depends on the milieu that you create around the cell that allows it to absorb whatever it has around it, to use it to build. So if you provide the right things for it, it will replicate, multiply, and divide with what you have provided. If it is deficient, it will replicate, divide, and multiply with what is deficient. If it is negative, it will replicate, multiply, and divide with whatever it has.
Okay, there's something that I have come to also learn in the course of, you know, researching for programs and all, that we have, the cells are categorized to body cells, blood cells, bone cells, even brain cells. Are there different ways of approaching the self-healing habits for each of these categories?
Okay, so the truth about cells, because this looks more like a biochemistry class.
Well, because, you know, people need to understand, you know, that the whole of the body is like the body of a vehicle. There are screwdrivers that beg your pardon, screws that can almost not be seen with the naked eye.
Yeah.
And there are body parts of the vehicle that are that big, all right, that that the hand cannot carry. There are some that the human being can carry by himself. There are some that require other, and the human body is pretty much the same as that, different components making a whole. So people don't even see their bodies in that way. So that's perhaps why, this disaggregation is necessary.
Okay, so I know why I said it looks like a biochemistry class. Biochemistry, that's the biology, that's the chemistry of life. Okay, so many people are like, oh, I don't need to know about it, I'm an accountant, but that's what makes up your body, so you need to have a basic knowledge of that. So before you have a full cell, you have what we call a stem cell. So it's a stem cell, when placed in the proper environment, now moves, that's the chemistry of that cell, now moves and differentiates into that body part. So if it's a stem cell, for a bone, it just grows into being a bone. If it's a stem cell for a liver, it just grows into a liver. And because of this amazing capacity within the cell, that's why it's able to differentiate into those various body parts. More so when supplied with the right nutrients, right environment, and right milieu. Milieu is the environment. That cell will pick up from the environment and replicate that condition. So you can have a cancer cell replicating and self-dividing, instead of replicating a new cell, will produce another new cancer cell, because the genetic material available for it is that of a cancerous cell. And so, I think it's really an exciting topic, talking about self-healing. The body really does have a capacity to heal itself. So when you have a cut on your hand and you sleep, you sleep, by the time you wake up in the morning, you have the fibrin strands, those black stuff that has covered it. That's one of the healing body functions of the cells, because from that stem cell stage, it has migrated into the bone cells, liver cells, brain cells, which you spoke about. And then that inherent ability is still there. So when you have an injury or you have a cut, your body goes into that memory area, picks up, what we need right now is healing, and starts to heal. And when it looks at, this leg is damaged, what we need to do is produce new cells to cover up this wound and heal it. That's why you see it heal gradually. But, there's a school of thought that feels that, the body can handle anything. All right. For you to self-heal, you must provide the right physical environment, the right nutrients, and then it is dependent on the amount of stress that you have given it. If you keep abusing that body part or that body beyond its repair ability, everything has an elastic limit, and that's what we abuse, that fact that, it's going to heal, I'm going to detoxify, the body can handle it. No. At a certain point, the body cannot handle it. So there are different things that you could use to introduce stress. You could introduce mental and emotional stress, which will cause a trigger, creating a negative pH in your body. And that's where the alkaline and acidic people come in. Once you have emotional stress, trauma, sorrow, heartbreak, whatever, could be from anywhere, you have created a release of negative neurotransmitters into your body, okay? Then when you introduce chemicals and toxins, either orally, from your food, as a pill or whatever way you introduce it, or topically, either way, that environment has become negative. It can only take so much. Like I always say, introduce a lot of acid through drinks to your kidneys. After a while, they will just stop filtering properly and start retaining stones. And then, pop, you hear there's a kidney stone. So I always say that physical abuse, that's mental problems, stress from chemicals, and then maybe trauma, maybe like accidents and all that. It depends on how much of that damage is done to it. Then it will decide whether I can self-heal or not. And that goes to the point where people say that, you don't need to supplement, you don't need to take, no, your body can handle that. You get everything from food. Really? You've cooked your food and killed off all the nutrients in the vegetables anyway, so you're taking more of the roughage in. So also, you don't how many oranges are you going to do to get your daily required amount for vitamin C that your body does not produce, which prevents you from sickness? So I've always said it that getting the right nutrients, it's important. If you're going to get those cells to replicate and to heal, it's not only for you to pop a pill, because you need to provide the right environment for that cell to replicate. You pop a pill, you shut down a pathway, and that pain signal is killed, but the other pathways that has been shut are not working. And you want the body to self-heal. How? You have altered like 4 pathways. I think the fact that my background is steeped also in biochemistry helps me understand all these things, because the body works with pathways. If you shut down the pathway for self-healing, the body is not going to heal itself. If you introduce so much chemical, like I say, disease means dis-ease. Your body, that body part is not in ease. And it could be a body part, it could be a cell, it could be an organ, it could be a tissue, whatever. And once you introduce those external forces, disrupt the milieu, contrary to what is the general belief in the industry, oh, the body can handle it. Seriously? You keep abusing it and you expect it to handle it? You have a part to play.
So what is the part now? I mean, you've talked about the things that... So how do we begin to reverse this trend in order for the body to do what it is built to do by itself? It's not like a vehicle that, you know, can heal itself. The human body is a machine that comes with regenerative forces of its own. So how do we help the body do that so that we ourselves can be at ease?
Okay, so like, I think I always like to answer this question by, you know how they ask you, what should I do? And then the person says, what should you not do? Okay. So how do we get disease? Like basically 3 ways. Number 1 is genetic predisposition. 3 ways. How do you get a disease? Maybe a diabetes. Either you are genetically predisposed to it. That means your DNA, memory, the memory cells and all that. You have this, dad is diabetic, granddad is diabetic. I mean, it's almost a written scientific fact that the next generation will be diabetic. That's genetic predisposition. The DNA, memory cells, all that carry that thing, that oncogenes or whatever it is. 1. Secondly, you could have, now for genetic predisposition, I will quickly say that the fact that there is a genetic predisposition does not mean that there needs to be an expression. So if you do the proper things, if you know that, oh, dad is diabetic, granddad is diabetic, uncles are diabetic, then that's when you know that you need to edit your lifestyle. That's not when you want to go binge drinking or even having a drinking spree, or you want to eat all the wrong things that will predispose you to diabetes. That's when everybody is doing this, you know that, oh, mine, I don't have the luxury, I want to, you know, and then you stay away from it. And any other medical intervention you need, you need to get it. Secondly, it's toxic overload. You have loaded yourself with all the things that should not be there. So,
for instance?
There are plenty of things. Junk food, chemicals in food, food loaded with chemicals. And I heard someone say foodless foods. It's food, but it's trash. There's nothing in it. Empty calories that you don't need, you know. So you have to be intentional. Then 4th is nutritional deficiencies. You're putting in nutrients. You are deficient of nutrients. The body does not recognize carbo, eba, and rice and stuff like that. What it recognizes is proteins, vitamins, carbohydrates and stuff. That's what it recognizes. So once you put it in, oh, this protein picks it, the rest, oh, this is roughage, and you go to the loo to get it out. So if those nutritional things are not there, it would not be able to function. So a disease will pop in. So this genetic predisposition, nutritional deficiencies, and then toxic overload. So if you have it, if you've overloaded yourself with toxins, push it out. If you have nutritional deficiencies, then put in all the nutrients that you need to put in. The final thing I would add to that, it's new, basically, that's not in the regular school, is energy. Let me give an example why you need force fields in your body. One, if you're off food for some time, you would survive, right? If you're off water for some time, you would survive. But if you're in surgery and that force field that they use to measure your heart rate, once that electromagnetic force field flattens out, the person is dead instantly. So that's where energy, force fields, electromagnetism, it's really much of a new field. But you see, when people want to die, when they're in movies, you see them taking those 2 electrodes to jumpstart the heart. That's because you don't want the electrical circuitry of the body to shut down. Once it cuts off, the person is dead instantly. So energy, frequency, electromagnetism, it's a new field, it's a new phase, it's a new, it's important in the body. How do you
put? It's not like you're going to touch electricity.
No,
is it? Exactly.
You use what we call it's new. It's like integrative medicine in which you use pulsed electromagnetic fields, infrared, all that stuff to get your mitochondria charged. Once the mitochondria, that thing inside the cell that powers it, once it starts losing energy, that's when you see malaise. You see people are dull. When your mitochondrial energy is low, that's why you see, for each cell has what we call electrical charge. It's called energy medicine, actually. Each cell has a voltage. It's called, it's a millivolts, about 70 millivolts. When you're sick and you have malaise, your cell voltage has dropped to about 50.
In other words, you need generator.
Yes.
To put on the light.
Yes.
In your body.
Yes.
It's okay. I'm hearing that for the first time. But you know, all of these things you're saying, thankfully we are talking about all these in the lifestyle segment. All of this definitely has a way of, you know, getting better only if we factor in a different lifestyle pathway.
Yes.
How? You've talked about what we take in. Before you go to those lifestyle patterns, how do medications help or harm this self-healing thing that you talked about? Because, I mean, it's only natural once anyone is having a headache, the first thing you want to do is get something to talk about it, to do to it. How does that help or harm? I've heard that they call something drug abuse, and it doesn't have to be cocaine or heroin. But some people, the moment they have some kind of thing, oh, I used this medication the last time, let me use it again.
Okay, so the first thing I would say is that sometimes you need a detox, a detoxification.
Of your body from those medications?
Yes, okay, so like most times pain is a signal. You have a headache. It's a signal that something is wrong. Like you have people who have what we call angina. They have heart problems. They don't know. And then one day they just say, ah, my heart. And then you feel something just tightened in your heart and released you. And you go, oh, it has passed. You know, that's a horrible signal. That's a very bad signal. That's a signal that the heart is not getting oxygen. And the cells on that side are about to die. So they gave you a warning. And so you go in like, oh my, so what do I need? You pop a pill and the pain goes. But that blockage is still there. And it could lead to 2 things. It could lead to a TIA, that's a transient ischemic attack, which is a stroke. Or it could lead to a full stroke, you know. But you know the body will give you that signal for a while before it decides that I want to go into stroke. So you take medications and you shut down that signal and you don't do anything about it. You take that medication for 5 years. You didn't do anything about it, about that blockage. You know, so that's where some form of wisdom is important. Like you have a headache. What's wrong? Am I dehydrated? What's wrong? Am I lacking water or I'm stressed? Do I need to sleep? You know, so that's the role in that. So sometimes after you have overloaded yourself with some of these things, then you need to do, that's the importance of detoxifying. You need to run detox series on yourself once in a while. Clean your colon, clean your detoxify, do a sauna, get those toxins, waste products out of your body, sweat it out, you know, get charged. It's the truth. Get charged, get a PMF or whatever it is, and connect yourself to the charges so that your mitochondria picks up energy at any time. And of course, another way to do that is definitely the exercising, because you need oxygen. The reason, like that TIA in which the person had that, it's called angina pectoris. Getting exercise, getting oxygen through exercise, and I've always said that, yes, exercise is good. It is not because you want to have six packs or low, flattened abs. It's because you need your heart to work, to pump oxygen, to circulate through the body. So when you get oxygen through those places, those cells that were threatening you to die get oxygen. And that's one of the regimens we need to add, apart from deficiencies that we need to put, toxins we need to get out through detox. As in, it's amazing, detoxification is important. You know, we also need to get oxygen and nutrients in.
So you're saying essentially that detox is one way of helping the body to get back its mojo, as they say.
Yes.
Get back its groove of self-healing.
Yeah.
But then don't also forget that there are countless ways that that detox have been recommended to people. Which one would you recommend? I'm sorry, I'm not asking you to advertise anything. I'm just saying, because there are some who look, okay, to detox, you have to do this, you have to do that. How do people, what's the, I don't know, basic way of detoxing that doesn't also bring harm to the body?
Okay, so initially I detested that word detoxification when I was growing up, because I just felt it was quackery. So sometimes you have overloaded yourself with a lot of things and your body can't deal. A good example, if you have a mercury overload or an aluminum overload, aluminum and those things, heavy metals, are stored in fat. So you could carry them for 5 years. Okay.
So when you talk about aluminum, it's a completely different picture is coming to people's mind.
Aluminum is found in your roll-ons, in some of your roll-ons, and there are researches that say that aluminum is contraindicated or indicated in breast cancer. You know, so when you have heavy metals in your body, mercury, aluminum, lead, all that, you can't get them out yourself. And the thing about them is they stay in the body and go to irritate the cells around. So you are irritated, you're having sinus problems and all that. You don't know why your sinuses are blocked. That's your nose problems, and all that. So you don't know, but you have you have a heavy metal overload, and so you are irritated and all that. You can't place your finger. You could do 10,000 tests. And you would not find that this is because you accept that maybe your liver function may be a little bit up and down. So why I brought that is there are different models of detoxification. You going to the toilet in the morning to pee and to poo and all that, that is a form of regular body cleaning out. Your body is cleaning out by itself. But there are different models. You might need to do heavy metal cleanse. You might need to do a colonic, get the stuff that has been hidden in between all those knots in the intestine. You know, the intestine is a loop. So there are some times that you have stuff hidden in all those loops, and they can stay there for years, really, you know. So you need to get all those cleaned. Then you can do a full body sauna in which you're just out and sweating out all the things that need to go out through your skin pores. So there are different methods. It depends on what condition it's indicated in your body. So if it is a heavy metal, if you're having brain fog, like I have a friend who said she called her boss sweetheart. she was having brain fog. So if you have that, it's a different kind of detox program you would need, because apparently your body can't deal with some of those heavy metals by themselves. So there are different types.
Okay. Because, you know, there are different types, there are different fake types.
Yes.
Okay. That's what scared me. That's why I'm asking that question. Because there are those who will say, okay, there is one particular, if you put your leg in certain liquid, you know, some liquids are going to, you know, go into the water, and that is detox. Is that? You don't know?
Well, some people do it,
okay.
You know, and they have, the thing I always say to people is, once you understand the chemistry behind something, then you're able to, you are able to decipher what it is. Apparently, I tried to read it up, and I know what they do is try to create electrolysis, try to create a circuit, increase the charge in the water, because you have skin pores, okay? Increase the charge in the water, create currents and charges, ions, so that the concentration in the water is higher than the concentration, the pH in your blood. So because you have pores at the tip of your feet, you have those osmosis, the things that shouldn't be there, free radicals, ions. It's actually an ionic detox. You have ions pulling out through those pores. So if you create a high concentration in the water, then you have a lower concentration in your blood, because you add salts and then you create electrolysis through the array, and there's a lot of ions in it. It's really concentrated, and there's a charge, there's an electric charge, maybe in amperes, you know, and then the concentration in the body is a lot lower. That would help you with heavy metal detox. It would pull out free radicals, ions, and charges. It's not going to go to your colon and pull out fecal matter. Neither will it. But you know those free radicals, and then you have a pump of hydrogen being pumped into your body. You have hydrogen peroxide being optimized in your body, which kills things which you endogenously produce. I mean, if you read the chemistry and it makes sense to you, then you go for it if you're comfortable with it.
Okay. How does nutrition help self-healing?
Like I said earlier, vitamins, minerals, trace minerals are very important in the body. The body recognizes carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, nutrients, and all that. So I want to build a new cell. I need magnesium. This guy is deficient in magnesium. And I'm already building the cell up. Just ignore it. And then it produces a weak cell. So that's why you need to have all your nutrients in the body, your vitamins.
So that's why there is what they call balanced diet.
Yes.
Because the body has different needs at any given time.
Exactly.
So when there is a balanced diet, the different parts of the body will take what's their own. Exactly. So the body has a way of collecting its own palliatives.
Yes. Yes.
In the food that you eat.
Yes.
Okay, so are there specifics? You just spoke about magnesium deficiency now. What are the things? How do you know you are deficient in one particular thing?
Okay, so let me give this brief story. You know how vitamin C was discovered, okay? In the era of the Queen, Her Royal Majesty, the Queen, you know, they call it the HRM ships, the fleet of the Queen. When they leave land, I mean, they still have supplies, oranges and stuff. Everybody's fine. Then when they get to sea and everything has, way back, I think in the 1700s, way back, when their supplies run out, then they found out that the sailors were all having scurvy. You know, scurvy. And then when they get back to land, biofruits, fresh supplies, oranges and stuff, then the thing goes, when they're back in the sea again and they have only salt water and all that, then they pick up scurvy again. And that led to the discovery of vitamin C. I don't want to be quoted because I need to get the research right, the data right, but it is said that for every vitamin deficiency, that there are about 72 or so diseases that can be linked with it. So with each deficiency of maybe magnesium, vitamins, whatever, there are diseases linked with it. Heart health, Magnesium is definitely deficient. CoQ10 is definitely deficient. Arginine is definitely deficient. And that's why I always say guided nutritional supplementation, because you need a nutritionist who is what her salt to help you with this. With all due respect, you need someone to guide you through it. You don't just say, magnesium, arginine, and you buy, you're going to end up with a large box of
medications.
Yes, and that's not going to help you because you'll be tired. So they know how to advise you on whatever deficiencies. Oh, there's a heart health problem. Oh, there's whatever. This is the side you're doing but this is the other side you need to add to it to get your balance, because everything is supposed to work hand in hand.
You spoke about exercising the other time. Apparently, it's not just nutrition. It's like what you're saying to me is it's a combo of activities.
Yes.
There's the place for food, there's a place for medications, there's a place for exercising, right? Mm-hmm. That's what you're saying. Yes. So the challenge then would be, for people, would be that of how to apply the proportions. Is there a guide that you can provide?
There is a guide, actually, and I'm just going to say this, and I'll give this guide. And I'll not limit it to just proportions. I'm going to include time into it.
Okay.
There's a process that your body goes through in the mornings, and that will guide us properly. You know, there's a process and it will help us have a paradigm shift on what we have been told over the years. And sometimes majority is not always, you know. In the mornings when you wake up and you get up from your bed, you head straight for the loo to ease yourself, right? Most people do. Or that's to pee most of the times, or maybe sometimes you just want to stay in the toilet or bathroom and have a bowel movement. That's your body saying, I walked overnight trying to heal you. Like you have the cuts in your hand, it is overnight that you see those brown things come up. So your body was working overnight when you were sleeping to rejuvenate you. So in the morning, you have that detox process. You're going to pee everything out. You're using the bathroom. At that morning time, that's not the time to eat breakfast like a king. Yes, that's the time to turbocharge your detox mechanism. That's the time to take in your smoothies, your juices, your green teas, fluids to turbocharge your detox. Recall that if you take 5 wraps of fufu and eba or ewa going in the morning, try it. By 11 p.m., you are groggy. You want to sleep. You're sleeping on your buses or you're sleeping on your desk. Because what you have done is you have done it, you know, in music, they call it contrapunta. You have confused the body. It's trying to clean out from all the work you did in the night. You have said, oh, leave those detox, all those debris from healing the body. Leave it aside, leave it. Please focus on the main pathway of digestion. So he leaves it there and you start to digest. It does not, it shifts the major activity to digestion. And so it churns all the resources to digestion and you get tired. And that's why you want to sleep. So in the morning, that's when to eat your basic things like oats, oatmeals, things that are easily digestible. For the Nigerian audience, that's when you want to do your pap. That's when you want to do your light meals, just to get your nutrients to carry you for the day. By 12, that's when your body can assimilate nutrients. That's when you load up with your eba, fufu, rice, and everything. Because your body is going to be in the assimilation module at that time. As you assimilating, that's when you do your wagoing and everything you want to do at that time.
All the heavy stuff.
Yes, as in have fun between 12 and 6. By 6 to 7, you're gradually shifting to the rejuvenation state. And that's when, because if you don't sleep, your body doesn't heal. So your body is about to sleep. You don't need to load it up with more 6 wraps of fufu So that's when you need to go your light meals.
What if that's the fellow's first and only meal for the day?
So you train your body. Stop confusing your biological clock. You train yourself.
Madam, people fast.
Yes.
You know, Ramadan time, people
there
fast.
There are exceptions.
Lenten time, people fast.
Yes.
What's the exception?
There are exceptions.
We have already distorted the clock for 30 days.
So you want to do self-healing, then you start following the clock. It's called it's a concept called the DAR cycle, detox, assimilation, rejuvenation. If you do not sleep, your body will not rejuvenate, because that's when it does the self-healing, you know. So that afternoon time is the best time to heavy eat and all that. By 7, you should be winding down. I know it's a very difficult model to approach and especially in the city where we live in. But by evening, you're having your light meals like your salads and little rice in addition, and a lot of nutrients, vitamins from your smoothies and juices, moi, you know, something like...
Some people will have very light meal in the night and wake up in the morning like they haven't eaten for 30 days.
Yes.
You are very well aware of that.
Yes, so because you want to push out. See, at the evening time, you are loading up for that rejuvenation work the body wants to do. It's going to be healing all your wounds, all your injuries overnight. Give it the required... It's simple science. Give it the required nutrients.
To you, it is simple science. But, you know, speak to this. There are people who... Well, you help us understand it. Who maybe had an incident in the day. They didn't feel any pain. Or they had an accident some time back. They didn't feel any pain. And they just slept and wake up the following morning feeling intense pain in that particular part of the body. Why are you laughing?
It's simple science.
Tell us this science.
Okay, so you have an internal injury and you are numb. Your body is numbed for the pain. So
we've applied embrocation.
There's something called internal hemorrhaging. If an artery or something is blocked and the body was trying so hard, like we have just spoken, to self-heal. And I mean, this whole bleeding thing is beyond it. And then that's when you start feeling the pain. So that's why if you have an accident or you have a fall, you should never assume that everything is fine. Get checked.
Okay. All right. Well, we have to thank you very much for this. We've spent a little longer than we planned to, but thank you so much for your time this morning, Beniga. But a very quick one. I told you we had our guest, our artist of the week, but unfortunately he also has been affected by the traffic from getting here on time. We've been able to successfully lock him down virtually this morning. So let me just go straight to it and have a conversation with him. Everyone calls him Alibaba. If you want to know his true name, Google it. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. We have very little time, but we have to keep this short. How are you this morning? Alibaba, please unmute. We can't hear you. Can you hear me? You are yet to unmute, please. We can't hear you. Okay. We are unable to hear you now, so it will seem like it is time for us to say our goodbyes. But before I let you go, just a very, very quick one to young people. There is an assumption that some people have that it's like young people believe that they can't die or that they can't fall sick. Is there a guide for them in this self-healing talk?
For younger people, I think this is the best time. You know, I'm more of a lifestyle and wellness-focused person. So the thing is, at 30, 40, 50, we see quite a lot of people who are coming down with what we call lifestyle conditions. Lifestyle diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension.
Hitherto, it was for much older people, right?
Yeah, even cancers, you know. So there are things that you could have done over the years. Like I think there was a time I saw a 38-year-old who had prostate enlargement. Now the thing is, the things you do now, at the end of the day, would ultimately show up in your 40s and your 50s. So this is the time to build the right milieu. This is the time to self-train yourself. Yeah, you can truly, they can get away with a lot of things right now. So this is the time to cut down on your carbonated stuff, drinks and all that. This is the time to go on moderation so that you're used to living and eating right and doing the right things. This is the time to get used to brisk walking, exercising, jumping jacks and all that. So that when you are in your 30s, your 50s, I mean, it's part of your lifestyle. You know, oh, these are the things I should eat, these are the things I shouldn't eat, these are the things I should eliminate. So you have it at the beginning. This is the best time,
Okay.
you know.
Just this one. I mean, you talked about the body healing overnight and developing something. How about the situation where the body actually is unable to heal? I hear what they call, is it vascular ulcer or something like that? How about that kind of situation? What happens?
So, like I said at the beginning of the program, the body can self-repair and self-heal, depending only on the amount of stress that it has encountered. So depending on the amount of stress caused by the amount of deficiency, by the amount of deficiency. So it's been deficient all this while. Now you have a big ulcer or a big leg ulcer, which is a leg injury, and there's nothing to heal. A good example was during COVID. It was said that people with existing
preconditions,
yes, did poorly with it. It's simple. Okay. The existing immunity which you had, or which the person had at that time, maybe a diabetic, was to deal with the diabetic sores and the diabetic injuries and the kidney problems and the nephropathies and all the eye problems and all the high blood pressure that came with diabetes. You now added an extra aggressive coronavirus on it.
Okay.
There's no backup to defend.
Sounds like you're saying, look, to self-heal, you have to start early. You're a lifestyle and wellness expert. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Truly appreciate it.